I tell people, you have to treat every opportunity like it's your last opportunity and just give it everything you got. One person transparency is somebody else's transformation. When anybody give you any opportunity, I don't care what it is, if it's 5 people, 10 people, you act like it's 100,000 people in that room. It's like your first podcast or your first webinar or your first, it's never gonna be the best, but if you do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, I promise you, now you in the playoffs. Now you in the finals. Now you championship ready. I know there's going to be a clear separation when you book David PowerTalk. So when I walk in there, they're like, oh my God, like, do we pay you enough for this? Because when you have a speaker business, now if you're making so much money in one area, you can invest something in something else. Speakers always make that mistake. When you walk out on that stage, you got to...
Welcome to another episode of Access Granted, where I give you exclusive access to entrepreneurs that are killing it in their industry. I'm super excited about today. You guys know David PowerTalk. He's no stranger to our family and community, but this is the first time we've had him on Access Granted. So I'm excited to just have a conversation with him, shine some light on all the amazing things that he's doing, but pour into you. David, welcome to Access Granted. How you feeling?
No, I'm amazing. First of all, I want to say thank you for having me. And just to see where you are right now, I mean, it's just, it's motivation, right? And just to see why I first came on a call with the community and where you are now is great, but I'm doing amazing. I'm just blessed to be here right now. I'm ready to drop some gems.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Well, before we drop these gems, I've told you this story before, but I had been begging my mom to retire for a very long time. And she's worked the same way used to work for the same company for over 30 years. Wow. Moving up in the company, but worked for the same company over 30 years. And all she knew was going to work, clocking in. Right. And she didn't trust my entrepreneur journey, right? So it's like, Mom, I got you, retire, we're good, like I need you with me on this journey, and she wouldn't do it. And you came into my challenge, and inside of the challenge you poured into my community, but I really think you came for her. And in the challenge you kept talking about it's my turn, it's my turn, and your call and response made them say over and over again, it's my turn. And she texted me and she was like, it's my turn. And so she retired.
Wow.
Right. So I gave her she works with me now. Helps me on my business. She allows me the opportunity to be Coach K and build the Coach K brand. And she's with my baby when I'm not there. But you gave us that push that we needed to get her out of her comfort zone, to bet on her and to lock in on her dreams. So thank you for that. It just speaks to how powerful it is when you speak and, the amazing work that you're doing and how you're touching people and taking them from a dark place and giving them the push that they need. Yeah, absolutely.
To their purpose.
Absolutely.
No, you definitely welcome. I'm glad to hear that, And I remember, I think that was when the first call I probably came on with your community or your challenge, and I remember that. And it's just because every time I get opportunity, I tell people you have to treat every opportunity like it's your last opportunity and just give it everything you got. And that's one thing about me is different as a speaker, is that a lot of people, they can feel my energy, they can feel how authentic I am, because I know there's a lot of people that don't have the switch that some entrepreneurs have, where they can just get up and just make a decision. And I help people to push that switch up. So I'm grateful for that.
That's good. So tell us, who is David PowerTalk?
David PowerTalk, certified motivational speaker. I've been a certified Eric Thomas ET speaker, game changers, since probably 2000, I want to say 18-ish almost, or maybe 19. I can't remember. I'm number 56, right? So I have the plaque in my office also too. But before I became David PowerTalk, of course, my name is David Solomon, 2 great kings. And my story starts way back from small town, Henderson, North Carolina, trailer park. We probably get into that also too. And then moved up to Newark, New Jersey. My grandmother raised me part of my life. Then, of course, went on to high school, college, became an engineer, became an entrepreneur, became a builder, became a real estate developer, and I got invited to Career Day one day to talk to a school in the middle of Newark, New Jersey. So I was raised in Newark, New Jersey. And so when I go there, I'm thinking it's just Career Day for just a classroom. It was a whole auditorium.
Wow.
Yes. And at that moment, when I went there, I actually donated $2,000 to the school. So I sold t-shirts and I raised the money. I donated money to the school. And then once I finished, one boy came up to me and he said, man, your story really resonated with me. And because I have an icebreaker that I use when I go to certain schools in different neighborhoods. And I say 1 out of 5 kids, fathers are not in their life. Then I say 1 out of 7 parents are addicted to drugs or some type of substance. And then 1 out of 10 live with their grandparents or their grandmother. And I say I'm in each one of those categories as an icebreaker. I do that because, see, one person transparency is somebody else's transformation. And then the more transparent I am, now the kids can be like, wow. Because there's a lot of kids in there that come from a single parent home. Or maybe there's somebody in their family addicted to drugs. Or maybe they live with grandma, live with nana. You never know. So now they loosen up a little bit. Of course, I go into my backstory, things of that nature. So the boy walked up to me. He said, I don't have any friends. I said, I'm going to be your friend. So maybe 5-6 years later, I was his keynote speaker at his graduation. I brought him on stage. And that one boy was the birth of David PowerTalk. Because when I went there, I wasn't branded. I didn't have the Instagram, none of that. So when I got invited is when I started the Instagram. When I thought about the name, I said, what name should I come up with, right? All my friends were like, man, you always trying to get me a PowerTalk or something like that, right? Because I can't help my energy, right? So at that moment, I came up with David PowerTalk. I incorporated the name, things of that nature. But he gave me the push to know that somebody else need my message to be able to say, I'm not alone. I'm going to get back up and I can do this. And at that point, I just kept going. I went to another school. Actually, the second school I went to was the actual middle school that I went to when I first came from Henderson, North Carolina to Newark, New Jersey. That was the second school I spoke at. I went there, brought a DJ. So one of the DJs, he's known. I think he was on Hot 97 or 105.1, DJ Still. I brought him there. I gave out book bags. I gave out school supplies. So I never got into speaking for money because I was already an entrepreneur. I was already successful. I was already making like 6 figures a month as a builder. So I was giving back. So now I go to my middle school that I went to. They loved it. They was like, oh my God. And I remember front row, there was some kids that was autistic, autism, whatever. And I had them up dancing. They was laughing. They was playing. Same thing happened. I do this exercise and I asked them, I said, do me a favor. Just give me the name of your best friend. So I said, what's your best friend name? He said, I don't have a best friend. I said, wow. I said, well, I'm going to be your best friend. And then at that moment, I made a new friend. So at that point, I knew that this was my calling, right? And I remember the day before I went and spoke, I was up all night researching and just, really preparing for them and things of that nature. But at that point, it just doors started to open up. Then I went to another conference and then that's when I seen E.T. on stage. I think it was Jeremy Anderson. This was way back when he first kind of started out, like really blowing up. And then I joined Game Changers. And at that point, this is a true story. So Eric Thomas, his right-hand man is CJ. So I remember when I joined Game Changers, we had to speak in person right here in Atlanta. Matter of fact, David Shan's old spot.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So his old spot, that's where they used to have their workshops. And the room was full of people that want to be speakers. But before that, they had an exercise where we got on a Zoom call. And we get on the Zoom call, you got to kind of tell your story a little bit, like just kind of see who you are as a speaker. I never forget this. I'm on a Zoom call and she goes, what was her name? I can't think of her name. But anyway, I was on a Zoom call and she said, I think it was Val. She was like, that was corny. That was whack. You boring in front of everybody. It was like hundreds of people on this call.
Oh, wow.
So my friend, we was in the same mentorship together. She said, oh my God. So then she said, but listen to me. Don't take that as a loss. Take that as a lesson. As soon as you open your mouth, I need you to catch my attention. I need you to take this serious if you really want to do this. Because I really didn't, like, don't get me wrong. I was on a call. I just kind of came on. Like, I wasn't prepared. I was just like, I'm an entrepreneur already. And I'm already a driven type person. So I came on a little cocky. I just kind of told the story. I really wasn't giving it my all like I should have, right? So the next time that she had to see me was in person right here in Atlanta. They had me the last person for the whole entire day. So all the speakers, so CJ is like Simon from American Idol. As soon as you finish speaking, he gonna rip you down about what you're doing wrong, what you need to do. Like, he don't sugarcoat anything, right? So I remember that they had, it's okay, David PowerTalk, coming to the stage. So I came out to the stage, and I spoke. As soon as I finished, it was like quiet. CJ was like, "Wow, you got the gift." I just got to polish you up just a little bit.
That's good.
For CJ, the right-hand man of Eric Thomas, to say I had the gift, because I knew I'm very competitive. So I didn't take that as a loss. I took it as, you would never in your life tell me that I'm not a good speaker. You would never tell me I'm boring, because I know I didn't give it my all. So a lot of people watching this right now is that when you go through something and you feel like it's against you, it's not against you, right? Like, there's a quote I heard from this pastor. It's like, sometimes there's pressure that we pick, or there's pressure that God put on you. Either way, that pressure is necessary to get into your purpose. And that pressure that she put on me, it allowed me to step into my purpose. But I put the other pressure on me not being prepared on me by not delivering what I should have when they called me, David PowerTalk, to speak virtually.
That's good.
So now I understand that when anybody give you any opportunity, I don't care what it is, if it's 5 people, 10 people, you act like there's 100,000 people in that room. And when I walked out on that stage, I was like Kobe. I said, you gonna know who David PowerTalk is. And truthfully, that was the day I birthed the quote, pain is power. Because I did, like, my whole keynote was about how I turned my pain into my power. And I remember the icebreaker that I used. So you probably heard a little bit of my story. So what I did, I walked out with a book bag. First thing I said, I remember I was about 11 years old. I heard this loud noise in the kitchen. I picked the book bag and I dropped it. It was like, boom. I walked in the kitchen. It was my mother laying on the floor, lifeless, half naked. There was 4 men standing around my mother. I had to take my hand, put in a bucket of ice, rub my own mother's chest. I didn't know I was trying to shock my mother because she was having an overdose. At that moment, I realized my mother and my father was addicted to drugs. That was my first pain point in my life. What's your pain point? Why are you here right now? So I kind of, I went more into the message. So I didn't go into how you doing. Hey, thank you for having me. Y'all look amazing. Speakers always make that mistake. When you walk out on that stage, you got to catch their attention right then and there. And that was the moment that I actually birthed Pain is Power. And I just went so deep into my story that the whole audience was just like, wow, that was great. And so then normally the program is 12 months. So the meetup is every 3 months. So the second time I went back to speak in front of them again, I got certified on the second time. Some people was going like a year and a half or something to get certified. So literally within 6 months of joining Game Changers, I got certified as a motivational speaker.
Ooh, that's powerful.
Yes, it is.
That's
it is.
good.
It is. So that's how David PowerTalk was born, from that little boy. And I got to thank my friend Sharon, what's her name? Yeah, Miss Mitchell. Because her and we went to college together. And she the one invited me to come to career day to her school. If she never invited me to come, I would have never branded myself. I would have never walked out on that stage. So she gave me the first opportunity to go ahead and speak, because she seen the things I was doing in the community and things I was doing as a business owner. She was saying, you need to come talk to these kids. Because if they see somebody like you from this neighborhood that's successful, they know they could do it also too. So by her giving me the opportunity, I walked out there and I spoke. Now, it wasn't my best speech, but it opened the door for me to say, you know what, this is it. It's like your first podcast or your first webinar or it's never going to be the best. But if you do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, I promise you, now you in the playoffs. Now you in the finals. Now you championship ready. That's like Michael Jordan or LeBron James. Like, they got a great gift, but they didn't win a championship on their first year, their second year. They had to go through everything they had to go through to finally be championship ready. But a lot of people are not willing to go through the process. They want to marry the prize, but they don't want to marry the process. I tell everybody, divorce the prize and marry the process. And I had to learn that the hard way. And, that was the beginning of David PowerTalk. And so you probably, well, I'll let you answer the question. I'll keep going.
I love it. No, I love it. You're giving out so much value. So there are people who desire to be speakers, right? And, one of my mentors, he says the best thing you can do is become a speaker. It's, the highest paying skill. It's something that you can do forever.
Yes.
If I'm watching this and I have a story and I want to touch others and I want to impact others, how do I even start the journey of being a speaker?
Ooh, that's good. So the first thing I would tell anybody watching this right now, the journey on being a speaker is first identify your audience. A lot of people say, I want to be a speaker. And first thing I ask them, who do you talk to? I talk to everybody. No, you don't. If you talk to everybody, you talk to nobody. Because guess what? If you're driving on the highway and you're saying, hey, I think I want some type of sandwich or a cheeseburger or a chicken sandwich, either you're going to say, I'm going to Chick-fil-A because I want a chicken sandwich. I'm going to McDonald's because I want a Big Mac, because you know exactly what you want. Mm-hmm. So, but therefore, McDonald's, they advertise to people that wants a Big Mac or a burger. Chick-fil-A advertise people that want a chicken sandwich. Mm-hmm. So as a speaker, you have to first identify, am I going to talk to students, educators, athletes, entrepreneurs? Am I talking to single mothers? Am I talking to only women? Who am I talking to? So now people ask me, okay, I don't know who I'm talking to. So I say, okay, let's back up. What's your pain points in your life? What happened to you? Right? So for me, part of my first trauma started in my childhood. Mm-hmm. So I knew that I could talk to students that may be going through certain things, between single family household, between maybe your parents addicted to drugs, or maybe you felt like the black sheep of the family, or maybe you felt like you wasn't wanted, maybe you bounced from home to home, maybe you didn't come from the best background, right? So that's one avatar. Okay, I was athletic. I played football, basketball. I know I could talk to athletes. I'm an entrepreneur. Okay, great. I could talk to corporations and entrepreneurs. I know what I was about to make it, lose it, and get it back. I can speak to your mind and help you get out their places. Right? My people, my family was educators. So I seen what they had to do every day to help these kids, even though they was going through what they was going through. So imagine you an educator and you're watching this, you're saying, wow, I do got days I don't feel like getting up. I don't feel like talking to the kids. But you don't know that kid just rubbed ice on his own mother's chest, and he's walking in that classroom. He can't hear nothing you saying because he's going through so much trauma. But I remember one of my teachers, Miss Riley, put her hand on my shoulder and she said, I know you are new in this school, but I'm going to help you get through this. Because I was trying to fight everybody, because I came from a small town, came from a trailer park, Henderson, North Carolina, to the middle of Newark, New Jersey, one of the roughest neighborhoods in northern Jersey. So when the middle school I went to, I was getting in trouble at first, but she calmed me down. So Miss Riley was the reason why now I talk to educators. And so I would tell people now, if you want to be a speaker, first identify your audience. If you don't know that, know your pain points. Your pain points will help you to identify your audience. So now you know your audience, who you can speak to. You got to get a coach. You got to get a mentor. You got to learn the art of speaking, tonality, storytelling, metaphors, presence on stage, how to build up your confidence, your preparation, framework, and also allow the man above will allow yourself to be organic, to be funny. I had to learn to be funny, because I realized I used to come out so angry because I had went through so much. I felt like I had so much to prove when I was speaking. So I had to learn, because I have a real funny personality. So once I realized to really bring out my full personality, people loved it. They was like, oh my God, I didn't know you was this funny. I thought you were just, you could do it. So those were the things I had to learn. So I would tell you right now, the fast track, be yourself on stage, but have the proper framework. Because guess what? Every great speaker, people love them because of who they are and because of their story and how they tell their story.
I think that's good. I think a lot of times or the mistake that I see some people make is they find their favorite speaker and they try to copy their style.
Yes, exactly.
And they don't tie in their personality with what they're doing. Like the ETs are the ETs because they're ET, right? You know, David PowerTalk is David PowerTalk, but Coach K has to be Coach K. Yes. So you have to find your tone, your framework, and the things that make you who you are as a speaker.
That's true.
You know, and what I love about speaking is it's something that, you know, it's an opportunity that a lot of people don't dive into.
Right.
And I think a lot of people have a story and have a passion, and they're able to go out and they're able to tell their story and grab somebody that might be going through the same thing. I spoke to a young lady earlier. We were having a podcast and the topic was completely different, but she talked about her journey through postpartum. And I was like, You have a story,
Yes,
right?
yes.
There's somebody out there who needs you, somebody out there who needs your story. They need your support. They need your push. They need your encouragement, and you should share that more.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people, they just, they want to do it. They sit back. They know that they have the passion for it, but they don't take action.
Right.
What made you decide to turn your pain into power and your pain into purpose too, to start teaching others and connecting with others as well?
Ooh. What happened was that when I started speaking, I went through a downfall because I was chasing two rabbits. I still had this successful company making all this money. Mm-hmm. I built this juggernaut of this company, like bringing in high six figures like monthly. I had an assistant, I had a assistant project manager, had an office manager. I had a driver. I had all these people, full trucks in the office, everything. I had this one manager that she started out making $300 a week with me as just a runner, pulling permits. Till she was probably making maybe $5,000 a week.
Wow.
$5,000 a week. And I had trusted her to really almost run the company. So I would just come in and we had a board. And it was so many jobs on this board. It was crazy. So we're hiring, we're doing all these things, right? So now I probably on paper, I had about 3.5 million in open contracts. People signing on saying, I'm ready to keep doing it, deposit, do it, X, Y, and Z. And she's running majority. Some people didn't start there, some people in the process of it. And as soon as I start taking off, I noticed a friction between me and her. So I remember she told me this. She was like, you know what? You just go and do you. I'm gonna run everything, right? So long story short, her and I, we had separated, and things didn't work out. And she took the project manager, somebody from my family. It was like 3 of the employees that was my core employees was part of her, was people that she knew that she hired. So they all left at the same time. So I had jobs going on I didn't even realize I had going on. I remember I had payroll about 50,000 on a Friday, and I was only bringing in 20,000. So now I'm taking from whatever I had saved, I'm putting it back into it. Mm-hmm. I couldn't even catch up fast enough to put the fires out. To the point it came to, I had a negative $7,000 in my account. I had to file Chapter 7, and it was like one of the darkest moments of my life. I've never been in that situation ever before. I mean, as an entrepreneur, sometimes you get a fire, things may happen, right? Mm-hmm. But for something at this magnitude, I never had it happen. So now I'm sitting here in my garage with the bottle of pills, about to take my life. I told about that story because I had lost everything. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what was next. But some apparent reason, God spared my life at that moment. And I just started working on whatever I could work on. Mm-hmm. I remember I had a drop top BMW. I sold my BMW to finish somebody's job, like to finish their roof. Like I was trying my best to just whatever I could close out, whatever I could do. I was like, I gotta figure out a way how to get this done. Mm-hmm. I took a year off from social media, everything. So when things started turning back around, and I started building everything back up, that was when I realized that God spared me, but the purpose kicked in. Because I will say the money first was allowing me not to be the person I should have been. Mm-hmm. Because I was making so much money, I'm traveling, I'm doing this. I really wasn't focused. I didn't have an end goal. I didn't have a main purpose of really why I'm doing this. But then when I found speaking, I would be so happy to go speak for free and to be at these masterminds or doing these things and not making no money. Like I'm just like I wouldn't even charge nobody. Mm-hmm. Like I would just go because I was already making so much money. I was living in one of the houses, one of the New York Giants. He moved out, I moved in. They thought I played on the Giants, right in Secaucus, New Jersey. True story. Mm-hmm. I had a Range Rover, BMW. I had all the motorcycles, all the toys. But when I went through that, it made me realize that when you get a second chance, you got to over deliver. And that's when I discovered the purpose on this is what I was meant to do. Because I asked myself, how did I get caught up in this situation? Because, and that's why I tell anybody, once you decide you want to do something, plan it out carefully where you could eventually you could let everything go and you can give everything you got into that one vision, that one goal.
That's good.
Because a lot of people say, I'm a serial entrepreneur, I do X, Y. No, don't tell me that. First, focus on one thing and be great at that one thing. Because now, fast forward, I only build for myself now. So me and my wife, we have our own, we get properties and we build up, we do certain things only for ourselves, right? Every so often I might take on another client, because still got a team up north that maybe work on certain things. But however, I'm so busy now, I can't even imagine me running David PowerTalk speaker company and still being this 7-figure builder. It's almost impossible. Not saying it can't be done, but what happens is when I have two juggernauts, it's pulling away the full potential that I can be in one area. So therefore, now the reason why I'm this dynamic speaker now is because my mental clarity, my stress levels are so low and my mental clarity is so high. When I walk on stage, people can feel every word that I say because there's nothing else I'm hanging on that is bothering me. I used to be on stage. I get off the phone. Off stage, my phone got 30, 50 missed calls. I got this going, emails coming in, that going coming in. So, but I just thank God that he was able. Cause I remember Neil said something to me. He was like, bro, you're going to have to just let it go. When I first met him, I think I met Neil 4 years ago. So once I let it go and I fully bought into David PowerTalk and I tell people this too. Don't just look to be a speaker, look to build a speaker business. You need a mentorship. You need an offer. You need to teach other people. You need to train other people. You need to also make income when you're not on stage. And that's how you become a 7-figure speaker.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That was one of my next questions. How do I turn this into a stream of income?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, let's talk
I'm going to break it down to you. Like, for instance, one of my people from my teams here right now, he'll tell you in the past, I want to say maybe 5 months, I've been on 30 to 35 stages. Averaging anywhere from $5,000 to maybe 10,000 per speaking engagement, right? You do the math. You do 30 times 5 only. Let's say 30 times 5. That's 150K. In 6 months, that's just only in speaking. That's not including your offer for 10,000, 15 or 20,000 to teach other people your inner circle. Not including your digital products. Not including your community. Not including your live events that you're going to have also too. If you stay dedicated to all of that, that's a 7-figure speaker business. And people don't realize that. You understand how it feels to go and speak for 45 minutes and they got a check waiting for you for $7,500? And then you can go back and do it again in 2 days, do it again in this day.
That's good.
And then what happens is this, I'm going to tell people this. There's going to be times where you're going to have to speak for free, but it's going to turn into something so much bigger. Like I remember I spoke for Marcus M500. I spoke for him. He said, "Can you come and speak?" I opened up for him. 2 people joined my program, and 1 person booked me to be their keynote for their next event.
Yep.
From that point, it turned into a speaking engagement. From that one, it turned into another one a year later for somebody else, and they just booked me again to speak back in Dallas. So that turned into 3 speaking engagements. And probably 10 people join my mentorship because normally every time I speak, somebody said, "How can I work with you?" Because people, when they see you doing something, they want I want to do that. How can I do this? And that's the reason why, if you notice, because you came on one of my workshops, I stopped doing my workshops this year. I said, you know what? I'm not doing another live event until next year on my birthday. Because I want to show them proof of concept. Because you got so many coaches out here trying to coach people on how to do things and haven't even saved them yet.
That's good. That's true.
And I'm against that. Yeah. If it's not saving you, if you're showing me to do something, show me that it's saving you first. So when I have my mastermind next year on my birthday, I got so much data between contracts, type of client, branding yourself. So now when I go and speak, I bring a team with me. I know those speakers ain't doing that. I bring my own banner, my own table. I give out t-shirts. I got everything with me because I know there's going to be a clear separation when you book David PowerTalk. So when I walk in there, they're like, "Oh my God, like, do we pay you enough for this?" Because when you have a speaker business, Now, if you're making so much money in one area, you can invest something in something else. So even, let's say I had one person pay me only $2,500 to speak for 1 hour, but I showed up with 5 people from my team. They all got my brand on, all got my shirt on. But by doing that, they rebooked me again to come back twice because I over delivered. And a lot of speakers don't want to go and speak for free right away. Like my mentor, ET, said this. He said 60% of your speaking engagement, it might be free as you do it. And even when you're in the game, you got to go and I got to speak to a football team next week. He said, our budget's low. I only can probably do $1,000. I said, I'll be there. Don't worry about it. I'll be there. Because I want the data. But no matter what, I want to show them I don't care about the dollar. I'm here to let you know I want to trigger your mindset. He said, we need help to turn around this season. Because I believe the more you pour into others, God going to pour it back into you. And then as soon as I said yes to that, that's when a dental company called me and said they just grossed $300 million this year. Yes. And he said, I want to bring you in. And this is a corporate gig. So, you know, the course. So now we in negotiation now on trying to get those numbers right. Because I'm doing the math. I'm like, if you just did $300 million, we got to talk, right? But I love this vision. And one thing I will say about speakers, just be yourself also too, and understand that you're not going to get every speaking engagement. Everybody don't think you're the right fit. I'm not worried about the no. I'm worried about the yes. Because then with the people that say yes to me, oh, I'm going to give you everything I got.
That's good. How do I find my yes? Like, how do I find, do they find me? Do I scout? Do I hire somebody to do the work for me? How do I go out and find the stages that I should be on?
Well, well, in the beginning, you probably want to definitely make sure all your social media platforms are built out carefully. Your LinkedIn, your website, your TikTok, your Instagram, your Facebook. If I look up your name as a speaker and I pull you up, it should be something that as soon as I look at it, I'm like, that's the person I need. Because you got to think about it. When you're looking for a restaurant, what do? You go to Google or go to Yelp, right?
Go to Google, yep.
Well, you look at the reviews, you look at the pictures, you haven't even eaten the food yet. You haven't even walked in the room, but then you go, oh, this look good. Let me see what they're saying, right? So what do you need to do? You need proof of concept. So maybe you got to take on 10 or 20 speaking engagements for free, right? Go get a videographer. If you can't afford a videographer, use your iPhone or your Android. Set it up. Record yourself speaking. Get testimonies. You need live testimonies, right? And then once you get those, slowly start building out all your social media platforms. And then once you do that, each month there is a different campaign that's going on. You might have mental health awareness. You might have there's this cancer for women. You might have something for suicide prevention month, which is September, which is right now. You might have, there's so many different campaigns that you can go in and you can tell a school, I will look to volunteer my time because I know this month is men's mental health month. I want to talk to the men's athletes because I know they're good on the field, but are they good mentally? And when you say the word volunteer, they know it's no transaction it needed to be. So then, let me see who I need to speak to. Could you send over your website and everything? So before you make any phone calls, you must make sure your whole foundation, your infrastructure is set up for opening. It's almost like I remember when I was, building people commercial products, I built this restaurant. So when we built this restaurant, you got to build out the whole entire restaurant first. The sign, everything got to be ready before anybody walk in. So that means when somebody walk in, what happens? They're like, oh, I want to, let me order this, let me order that. A lot of people try and say they're open and they haven't done the groundwork yet. So you have to make sure that everything that you're saying that you do, when I look at it, it gotta look like you've been doing this for years. I'm not saying you're lying, but you want to make sure that they know that you're the authority figure so they can trust you to walk into that door. So now if you do it for free and you don't do that much of a great job, they don't feel bad and they didn't pay you. But however, you need the reps. So okay, that's a good question. So now when I go in there, how do I make sure I do a good job? You got to have a coach. You got to prepare. You got to make sure you understand how to deliver a message. And you could do it over and over. People say, well, what if I don't have a coach right now? I can't afford it. Go live every day. Go on TikTok, go on IG for 1 hour every day for the same time. And talk about a subject matter every day. And this is most important. Listen to the comments. When people are putting comments in there, double down on that. If the comments are quiet, go back to the drawing board and then get back on live again. Because something you're not saying right, the reason why people quiet. But when you say something right, go back to that again. And then you do it again. You do it again. That's the only way you build confidence is repetition and preparation. And then now when you go on stage, you could use some of those organic moments you did on that live on stage, or when you're doing a virtual event. And then people are like, wow, that's so great. How did you get so good? Because of preparation.
That's good. That's actually something that I practice. I go live.
Yep.
All the time.
All the time.
And people ask me, why do you go live so much? I'm like, that's my stage.
Yes, that is.
That's my stage. I get to test out things. I get to see what works. I get to connect with my audience. I get to make sales. I get to practice doing my pitch. And, you know, it's what works, but it's in the comfort of my home. I might have on a t-shirt and pajama pants, but it's in the comfort of my home. And it, you know, you might have 100 people on there. You might have 10 people on there, but how often do you get in the room with 100 or, 150 people and you're able to have their attention to talk about what you have to offer?
Right.
So I love that concept. I do it all the time, and it's got me to a space where I'm very confident in speaking, but I also have a speaker coach.
Right.
Even as an entrepreneur, and I don't want to classify myself as a motivational speaker, right?
Of course.
But even as someone who wants to be on more podcasts, more stages, and being able to connect my message with others, I hired a speaker coach because I knew in this journey where I was going that I had to be stronger at speaking.
Right.
And I can see the doors that it's opening because I invested into being a better speaker.
Right.
So it's the power of having a coach and a mentor who can show you the framework, who can show you what to do, who can show you the power of, just being able to take your message and connect it with people in the audience, for sure. So I definitely think you teach this information. You have, okay.
So I do teach that, and I'm glad you said that too, because just like a comedian. So think about Kevin Hart. Before you go to Madison Square Garden and have his big show, what do? He go to a lot of small comedy clubs
to test out this work.
To test it out. What's working? Look at the data. And that's why I teach so basically I also too, I train, so you're at a different level as far as speaking. So I train people that's looking to get started as speakers and then looking to scale up and get things to a certain point. Right. Okay. And now I'm offering, if you already got a little bit of movement, you want partnership. So basically I have to have one tier where you just getting started, and then a partnership where now I bring you on the road with me. You could shadow me. You could open up for me. And so now what happens if I'm in an audience of 500 people, I bring you on there for 3 or 5 minutes. And then guess what? Now you have my audience. Now you have a video testimony. Now you have content that you can use. You put on your website. They don't know it's my speaking engagement or it's yours. I had one lady, she's in my inner circle. I did that for her. She does with brain health. I forgot how she put it. As soon as I finished, they walked up to her. A few people. They was like, hey, because guess what? So you have to understand, as a speaker, you can't take it personal. There's somebody on this just only for you. So therefore, I do this teamwork exercise where I bring on my team. I have about 4 people in my inner circle that's with me, and they step out in front of me and they tell the avatar who they speak to. And then why do I do that? Because if you're in my inner circle, now I give you proof of concept that I'm your mentor, and now you on these stages I'm on, and you get this opportunity. And these people, first time they've been on a big stage like that. So imagine the opportunity they be like, hold on, I'm out here, I get to speak in front of X, Y, Z. And then when we finish, people are coming up to them, taking pictures, and people say, oh, that was so powerful. It builds up their confidence.
Yep.
So now as you go from one tier to another tier, you have an opportunity to be on the fast track to do what you got to do. So yeah, I do teach them to get to that point.
That's dope. If there's somebody watching this right now and they're having a hard time turning their pain into power, what advice would you have?
I would just say the first thing I had to focus on was being grateful for the 4-letter word called life. Because I was taking life for granted. And a lot of times when we're going through dark moments, we are so consumed of what happened or what is happening. We're not looking at just the opportunity of being alive and have opportunity to get out of this. And I do know some people going through very difficult moments. And I've been through a lot of difficult moments in my life. And I would just tell somebody watching this right now, if you're going through a dark time or a difficult moment, first thing, gratitude is first. Make a list of all the things in your life that you're grateful for, right? And then I want you to look back and look at all the things that you prayed for, or some things that you knew that you wasn't sure was going to happen, but it did happen in your favor. You got through it. Because if you got through it then, you're going to get through it now.
That's good.
And then now you just start focus on the things you can do. Don't focus on the things that went wrong. You can't change the past. You can't predict the future. A lot of people are professional time travelers. They wake up, they get in their little machine, and they go straight to the past. Oh, why this happened? Or they get in the machine, they shoot to the future. Oh, it ain't going to happen this way. Stop doing that. Live in the moment. Make every moment count and just give it the best you can. Next day, just keep stacking days. I think, who said that? Chris Paul said that. You got to keep stacking days and you got to keep do one brick at a time, like Will Smith said, because we overcomplicate things. We think success is something that happens overnight. It doesn't. It's impossible, right? Unless you hit the lottery. You have to get up every day and you got to keep hitting that tree in the same spot. You trying to knock down an oak tree? People, they go to an oak tree, they hit the oak tree in all these different spots. Why the tree ain't fall? Because you're hitting it in so many different spots. Hit that oak tree in that same spot every day. And I guarantee eventually it's going to come down.
That's good. Listen, what's next for David PowerTalk?
Millions of lives being changed.
That's good.
Just being the best version of me as a speaker, as a communicator, as a coach, as a husband, as a father, as a man of God, because I have experienced so much in my life that I'm grateful for every moment. And there's a reason why he chose me to be in certain rooms. I have people sometimes when I finish speaking, they break down in tears and they just like hug me and just tell me every painful moment they've been through. And they thank God that I walked in that room. So I do know that I have a gift. I have something that when I walk in and I speak, that people, they just are compelled to just turn their pain into their power. And not everybody have that gift. Yeah, you have speakers as speakers. I get that, right? But I know I'm different. And I'm a man of God. So I know I'm anointed to do what I do. I'm sorry. Like there's so many people that come up to me after I finish speaking, but like, I just feel like God brought you here to speak directly to me. Your message was directly for me today. I needed to hear that. So for me, I just want to touch as many people as possible. And I want to just be the best version of myself. Like even getting ready to come here, I'm listening to Pastor Mike, his sermon, right? Why is that? I tell anybody, if you communicate, you a speaker, you always got to be a student of the craft. I look at his tonality, his storytelling, his confidence on stage, how he referenced certain things. So I'm just consuming myself with nothing but people that's doing it at a very high level.
That's good.
So that way I can take some things from that, not to duplicate it, but to make myself better.
That's amazing.
That's it.
That is amazing. Ooh, this has been good.
Yes, I love it.
I am so happy you finally made it to the table.
Yes, exactly.
You guys, this has been another amazing episode of Access Granted. I want you to make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this with other entrepreneurs or people you know who could benefit from this amazing information on how to turn their pain into power. David, thank you.
Very welcome.
We appreciate you. Tell the audience where they can lock in with you.
Yes, David PowerTalk on all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, my website at David PowerTalk, YouTube, everything is at David PowerTalk. Listen, if you've seen this episode, shoot me a DM, tag me on it, let me know what you got from it. Let me know how you turn your pain into your power. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, you guys. Thanks for locking in to Access Granted. We'll see you next time.